Here is a well-known ternary operator. Just kidding, Argentum doesn't have ternary operators. Instead, it has two binary operators. Question mark and a colon. We can even write them separately and assign intermediate value to a variable. What is the type of this variable? It's an optional string, or in Argentum syntax, question mark str. This question mark operator checks the left operand and returns either an empty value or the result of the right operand wrapped in an optional. The colon operator, on the other hand, unwraps the left operand if it has a value or evaluates and uses the right operand otherwise. Simply put, the question mark operator produces optionals, while the colon operator consumes them. This function prints optional wrapped string, if any. This is the work for the question mark operator. It checks for none and peeks inside. Its left operand is actually not a bool but an optional, and its right operand is a lambda with one parameter. So it checks if the left operand isn't empty, unwraps its value, and passes it to the lambda. In Argentum, there are only two ways to peek inside optionals, the question mark and the colon operator. Both operators always check for noneness, making the language completely safe from invalid optional access. They also ensure proper execution paths for none values instead of crashing the application, making Argentum fully resilient. This is optional constants, empty, and non-empty. Oh, and here's another lambda syntax that sometimes makes expressions more compact and readable. You might be wondering, why so much focus on optionals? Well, in Argentum, pointers are inherently non-nullable, so optionals are the language's way of handling pointer nullability, making optional safety essentially the null safety. Here, we have a non-null blob pointer, which we can use directly without checks. This variable, however, is an optional pointer to blob, so we check it before use to handle the non-null case properly. This is a typecast operator which returns an optional pointer, and we must check it before use, meaning optional safety is actually type safety. Similarly, accessing by a string key also returns an optional pointer, indicating whether a value exists, making optionals a built-in safeguard for bounds checking and key access. Overall, Argentum has unique types that act as booleans, optionals, and null pointers, with uniform set of operations that enforce null, type, key, index checks for safety and resilience. Next chapter, objects and pointers.